hit like and subscribe. You're watching the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel.
Peace, family. It's your brother, Marc Lamont Hill. Welcome to Night School. Every night here on the Marc Lamont Hill official YouTube channel, we hold Night School, where we break down the most controversial subjects, the most interesting topics, the most contested debates going on in the world today. And tonight is no different. It's so good to see y'all. It's Thursday, January the 16th, and we got a lot going on in the world. I don't have a lot of time, but we got to handle our business. And that means addressing some of the things going on in the world, including one of the most pivotal pair of days in the Middle East, including an inauguration that is absolutely going to happen, whether you like it or not, in about 4 days, including some pop culture news, including Drake, who continues to just be a weirdo and do weirdo shit. We're going to get all of it out today. And again, don't have a lot of time, but we're going to cover as much as we can, as effectively as we can. It's good to see everybody. It's good to talk to y'all. It's good to be here with y'all. I've been just underground writing and working and trying to stay healthy, but you got to come outside sometimes. And when I come outside, I see a world that is getting more and more deflated. You know, we're in a moment where authoritarian leadership fascism is everywhere. We're in a moment where the good guys seem to be losing, the bad guys seem to be winning. We seem to be in a moment where some of our most just treasured successes as activists and organizers seem to be undermined by retrenchment. You know what I'm saying? 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Sometimes it feels like 1 step forward, 2 steps back. That ain't how you do it. So I am happy to be here, not to make you pretend that it's all going to be okay, because it's not, but to let you know that there is resistance out here. There is hope out here. There is struggle out here. That's what we do. And Karen D said, Mark, can you do a little intro of like 30 seconds so we can all get in the room? That's why I'm yapping right now. I ain't even get to the stories yet, Karen D. That's my journey right now. We 3 minutes in, and I'm just sort of heating up. I want to give people a chance to get to the room before we get to these conversations. The Reward of Samurai said, I refuse to organize anymore if it's all just going to get funneled into bog standard Democratic Party political machinations. Effort. I feel you. And I know it seems like that. I know it seems like we're not winning. I know it seems like there's no progress. I know it seems like we're not gaining, but I promise you it matters. Sometimes it matters just because you stop it from being worse. And I know that's not the most exciting news. It's not the sexiest tagline, but sometimes our efforts stop the boulder from going the other way. We're pushing up the hill and we ain't making much progress, but we stop, we go this way. So just think about that as another way of framing it. Christy Z says seems, but I didn't put it up because of that. I put it up because I'm happy to see Christy Z. Christy Z, shout out to you, man. Maybe you've been here and I haven't seen you, but I haven't seen your name in a while. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Shout out to everybody else here. We're about to get started. Brujita Brujita's here too. Ay, bendito. This is what a day, man. I feel like all the OGs popping out. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I love y'all. All right, y'all. We're gonna get started. But before we do, I need every night school classmate to hit the like button on this video. Hit the like button right now. Also comment your name and where you're watching so all the classmates know. And of course, share this video with your friends, a group chat, a social media community, whoever. But we want to bring people in. We want to bring as many people as possible into this global classroom tonight. And you don't need to be a subscriber to be here. But of course, if you want to comment, you do. So hit that subscribe button. Be a commenter. Join the conversation. If you're watching this on Twitter, come on over from Twitter, come to YouTube and be a part of the conversation. But as always, I got to tell you, we're going to act right. You got to act right. We're not always going to agree. You can disagree with me. You can dissent. You can even clown me. I don't care, but you can't use hate speech. You can't be disrespectful. You can't be uncivil to your community members. We got chat moderators in here and they are watching. You're gonna get a warning the first time. Second time, you're gonna be muted. That means you can't leave a comment anymore. Then the third time, we're gonna get you up out of here. All right. Now I don't want that to happen. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I want you to know it could happen. And so let's do it. By the way, Bullet the Bunny said, if we are losing, ain't no reason not to fight back. That is exactly how I feel about it too. We ain't got shit to lose, right? Like Asada say, we ain't got nothing to lose but our chains. So let's keep fighting. Let's keep struggling. Let's keep building toward the world that is not yet. Let's get to it. All right. The first news, most important news of the day, the thing that I think is most important anyway, is that Israel has confirmed the ceasefire. This is no small thing. About 45 minutes ago, Benjamin Netanyahu publicly declared, obviously it's Friday morning in Israel, that a deal has been reached, a deal to return the hostages who are being held in Gaza right now. A deal has been reached to stop the violence in Gaza, the genocide in Gaza. He obviously didn't use the word genocide, but I'm going to use it. Benjamin Netanyahu's announcement was a big deal for a lot of reasons. Obviously, yesterday the world celebrated that there was going to be a ceasefire deal reached. Unfortunately, this morning we hit a snag as a global community. There was specifically a delay that was announced by Benjamin Netanyahu earlier today on Thursday because his cabinet was not ready to move forward. Now, according to Netanyahu, the reason that the cabinet didn't move forward was because Hamas pulled back on demands for what he called a last-minute concession. He issued a statement. In it, he said, Hamas reneges on parts of the agreement reached with the mediators. And he said that until the mediators notified him that everything had been agreed to and accepted, the cabinet would not move forward. Now, that's Netanyahu's side. And it seems to me that Netanyahu was lying. Why? Because he was talking. Now, according to Hamas, and I'm speaking specifically of Izzat al-Rishq, who is a member of the political wing of Hamas, he said that Hamas was, quote, committed to the ceasefire agreement, which was announced by the mediators. So it really comes down to who you believe. Hamas doesn't always tell the truth, but they've been pretty consistent. No politician tells the truth all the time, but Hamas has been pretty consistent with this deal. They've been pretty consistent with the terms of the deal. They've been accepting this deal for months. It's Netanyahu and Israel that have been pretending that there's a problem when, in fact, the only problem is Netanyahu really kind of doesn't want to do this. He doesn't really want to keep this thing going. And so what Netanyahu did is, and what he always does, is he bargained. He negotiated. He made it seem as if there was a new crisis when, in fact, he simply didn't want to address the old crisis. He didn't want to resolve the old crisis. This is not a shocker. This is very consistent, again, with who Netanyahu is. Earlier today, there was also a question around the Philadelphia corner, which, again, Netanyahu had reneged on. They had an agreement, ostensibly, and then Netanyahu said, wait a minute, we're going to continue to have a troop presence in that corner, which is where you see Israel and Egypt and Gaza connected or intersecting. So he wants to have a troop presence there. He wants to continue to police. He wants to continue to have a security presence there. When one of the key terms of the deal was, of course, not having that. So this is the backdrop to it. So there was a lot of tension. There was a lot of confusion. There was a lot of uncertainty about whether this agreement would go through. And to be honest, I wasn't sure that the agreement would go through. But it did. Now, according to my sources, it went through because of backdoor struggles, backdoor deals, backdoor conversations. You know damn well Donald Trump didn't want to get shown up. He didn't want to look like he didn't make this happen. He didn't want to make it look like he wasn't the big dog in the room. So this is fascinating. We can talk about that later. There are thoughts I have about that, and we've talked about some of them already, but it's very interesting how this deal got turned on and turned up a long time ago, particularly since the terms have not changed. One read is that Biden couldn't get it done and Trump could. I mean, I think that's true. The question is why. If we operate from the presumption that Biden nor Trump is willing to do the thing that would absolutely make a deal go through, and that is not funding Israel, not funding a genocide. If we take that off the table because Biden took it off the table and Trump took it off the table, then the question becomes, well, what does get you there? And it seems to me that Trump is offering Netanyahu something that Biden would not. Not sure what that is. We know for sure, though, that there's been a public affirmation of Israel's right to settle and annex the West Bank. That's what Israel says it has a right to do, and that's what Trump seems to be endorsing. And so it could be that Biden would never agree to that. Now, Biden wouldn't really stop it. Again, the Democrats have been feckless and weak on this forever. So this is not a defense of the Democrats. It's just to say Democrats at least put good public relations up on certain issues. Donald Trump is like, I don't care. Just wrap up the deal and let's make some money. And so it seems to me that Netanyahu agreeing to this is not because Trump offered a better deal or Trump made a persuasive phone call. I think they had a deal the entire time. I think the entire time the deal was, don't do a ceasefire for Biden. If you wait for me, I'll give you more. And you make me look good. It's a quid pro quo. And so that is, I think, what's happening. And that seems to be playing out right now, but I don't know. I'm speculating. Now, I have sources that have told me this. I'm not just pulling it out of my butt. But, nothing is confirmed by any stretch. I'll tell you when something's confirmed. This ain't one of them things. So as of now, the deal is moving forward and the ceasefire begins Sunday. Now, the idea of a Sunday ceasefire for me is always unsettling when you're dealing with a nation like Israel. It's always unsettling because Israel has a commitment to eliminating Palestinians. So, yes, it's a celebration that between now and Sunday, things will stop, or by Sunday, things will stop. The problem is between now and Sunday, there's going to be a lot more violence. There's going to be a lot more devastation. This is not a cool down moment. This is a ramp up moment until we get to Sunday. Just to be clear, the announcement was made yesterday. And since yesterday, at least 87 people have been killed in Gaza. Since the announcement, 87 people have been killed in Gaza. Of those 87, at least 21 are children. I'm talking about 25% children almost. And 25 are women. So 46 out of the 87 people killed have been women and children. Israel continues with the air attacks. Israel continues to strike indiscriminately and excessively. And that is why we are where we are going into tonight or tomorrow or the morning, Friday morning in Israel. It is right now. Israel has killed at least 46,788 Palestinians. I'm going to say that number again. 46,788 Palestinians have been killed since October 7th. And another 110,453 have been wounded. And the numbers continue to grow. And wait till we look and dig. Wait till we look under the rubble. Wait till we get a full count. I guarantee you it ain't going to be 47,000. It ain't going to be 57,000. It ain't going to be 87,000. It's probably at the end of the day going to be in the six figures, and it's going to be ugly. 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 Uglier. So this is where we are. As we know right now, in Palestine right now, that genocide continues in cities like Khan Yunis, which is in the southern part of Gaza. Just earlier today, the Israeli military struck a home in Khan Yunis. 5 people got killed in that attack. It's the family home of the Baraka family in the town of Abbasan, which is east of Khan Yunis. Lord, Don't even get me started. But 5 people killed just from that home. This is par for the course. And so while the world is celebrating and patting themselves on the back and honoring the hard work it took to get to this point, and it did, there's a lot more death coming. There's a lot more destruction coming. And Israel is showing that it has no signs of letting up. And you know that because Netanyahu's cabinet continues to ask for the genocide. Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, he said he'll quit if they do a ceasefire. He'll quit if there's a ceasefire. You know how wild that is? He's not the only one. There are members of his cabinet who are saying, we don't want to exit this. We want to keep going. Itamar Ben Gvir. I mentioned Bezalel Smotrich, right? There's also Itamar Ben Gvir, who is a member of the Jewish Power Party. They said, again, keep it going. These are people who not only want to blow up Gaza and destroy everything in Gaza, they also want to destroy the West Bank. They're looking for a reason. So this is where we are. And I want to show you something just for context. Just for context, I want to show you something to understand that even when this ends, there's still so much work to do. There's still so much work to do. Gaza can never go back to the status quo. The status quo was unlivable. But this is even worse. Look at this infographic courtesy of Al Jazeera. What is left of Gaza? 60% of the buildings in Gaza are damaged or destroyed. 70% of North Gaza is destroyed. 92% of homes are damaged or destroyed. 74% of Gaza City is destroyed. 88% of schools are damaged or destroyed. Deir el-Belah, 50% destroyed. 68% of cropland area damaged or destroyed. 55% of Khan Yunis destroyed. 68% of road networks damaged or destroyed. Rafah, 48% destroyed. 50% of hospitals are partially functioning. This is the reality of Gaza. It is going to take, according to experts that I've spoken to and read from, such as the experts at Bloomberg who did an analysis, $80 billion to fix this thing. $80 billion to rebuild what has been destroyed in Gaza in the last 15 months. Where's that money going to come from? Truth is, they don't want to rebuild it. The truth is, they have no desire or intention of rebuilding Gaza. What their intention is to push all Palestinians out of Gaza. Their intention is to create Nakba 2.0. I am beyond disappointed and frustrated, sad, and everything else. But I'm trying to help us think about what we do next, because we can be sad and frustrated all the time. And that's the question. I think a lot of people are thinking about what the day after the ceasefire looks like. We should. One, we have to hope that Israel maintains its end of the bargain. Two, we have to demand that Israel hold up its end of the bargain by demanding that U.S. I'm talking to Americans right now, that we demand that the U.S. continue to apply pressure, and we as activists continue to apply pressure. If you think the ceasefire ended because Israel got tired, it's because we applied pressure every single day. and we got to continue that. We also have to understand that an end to the genocide is just the first step. That's just literally stopping the bleeding. The next thing is to call for an end to the occupation, and into the blockade of Gaza, and into the siege of Gaza, and into the occupation of the West Bank, and into the occupation of East Jerusalem. There has to be an end. And then from the end of an occupation, we then have to talk about a free Palestine. What does that look like to have a free, self-supporting, sovereign Palestinian state situated on contiguous land with its own security infrastructure, its own potable water, its own arable land? This is what we need as a global community, because until we as a global community can create that, then we as a global community will always be dealing with this. And more importantly, Palestinians will always be dealing with this. This is the context of our struggle. This is our work. That's right, Bullet the Bunny. The own airport, own military infrastructure, own security apparatuses, own border, controls, etc. Problem is, they're already looking at the West Bank. They're already talking about cutting UNRWA. They're already ignoring international law. Sherilyn Hill said that was all discussed in Oslo. Oslo, that's another conversation for another time, but the Oslo Accords of 1993 did some of that, but it was very much vague and empty promises. It was very much an over-promise and under-deliver situation. It was very much a context where the Palestinians gave and gave and gave, including recognizing Israel in the letters of mutual recognition, and no one recognized a Palestinian state's right to exist in the Oslo Accords. The Oslo Accords helped to divide Palestinian land into Bantustans. It didn't divide into a single contiguous land. It's just not true. If you look at post-Oslo, what you see is what? A bunch of pieces of Palestinian land that's not contiguous. That's not how you create the sovereign nation. The Oslo Accords gave security coordination in Area B to Israel. The division of areas A, B, and C did not help advance the cause of Palestinian nationalism. It did not create a context for a true liberation. All they did was build apartheid walls and separation walls and disconnect the Palestinian nation from one another. Oh, I'm sorry. Sherilyn Hill said also there was a meeting, two-state solution yesterday. Forgive me. Typically, when people say Oslo, they mean it as a shorthand for the Oslo Accords. You literally meant in Norway yesterday, like Wednesday. Forgive me. I'm going on and on about the Oslo Accords. My bad, y'all. My bad. Is Israel expecting the Gulf countries to pay? No, Israel is lobbying up the idea that the Gulf countries should pay, banking that they won't. But remember, Israel's goal is to normalize relations with the Gulf countries so that they can continue to have these weapons and defense deals. That's also the United States' goal. That's what the Abraham Accords was about. They weren't peace deals. U.S. wasn't beefing with Morocco. You know what I'm saying? It was about weapons. It was all about money. All about the money. Gulf countries will pay to invest in Gaza if there's a material stake in it, but that's not the same as helping rebuild Gaza for the purpose of creating, again, a sovereign Palestinian state. So no, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Somebody said Ahmed Anau would make for a great guest. His comments in electronic get the final riveting as always. I will read them, and I will, because I've been underground all day. I'll read them and I'll talk to them and bring them on. Maybe I wish I could have known. I'll bring them on tonight. Bring you Tigrinyas back in the building too. Y'all, I'm seeing all the folks, man. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Love you. Mean it. Let's talk. Let's talk, y'all. What's next for Palestine? It's up to Palestinians, but it's also, so there's the strategic what's up for Palestine. It's not for me to say, but as a political analyst, I'm saying what's next for Palestine. I'm encouraging everyone to not be naive or or driven by kind of unmerited optimism. Whatever is going on in Gaza, whatever has been going on in Gaza for 15 months, please do not believe that it's going to get better. Donald Trump has plans for Gaza that are even worse than what's happening right now. Donald Trump. Again, supports the annexation of the West Bank. Donald Trump supports cutting UNRWA. And I can only hope that Donald Trump will apply pressure to Netanyahu if they break the ceasefire, but I don't see it happening. I see someone writing, so did Kamala. I'm not sure. Kamala Harris never said that. Kamala Harris didn't support annexing the West Bank. If she did, then I'm mistaken. Show me. Show me. I don't know any U.S. president that supported annexing the West Bank in recent years. I mean, not Democrat or Republican. Trump seems singular in that. And I don't know of any U.S. president that supported cutting UNRWA. If you're saying Kamala Harris supported permanently cutting UNRWA, as Donald Trump advocated in his last presidency, show me where she said that. Again, there's plenty of reasons to criticize Biden and Harris. They were awful. I mean, I don't know if you could be any worse than they were. My point is, as we enter this new phase, there will be new things that will allow for more awful stuff to happen. But let's see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Trump will be a beacon of light and hope for Gaza. Maybe he'll be the same as his predecessors, or maybe he'll be worse. We'll find out. I think he'll be worse. But if I'm wrong and he's just the same, or even if he were slightly better, that's not a victory. I'm going to just respond to you one more time here. You said Biden and Blinken cut UNRWA. Biden and Blinken cut UNRWA as a temporary measure in response to these ridiculous allegations about UNRWA and October 7th and all this stuff, right? I'm not suggesting, again, this is not a defense of Biden. But Biden made a temporary cut to UNRWA. And if you remember, I think you remember this. If not, you can Google it. UNRWA cuts UNRWA funding was renewed by Biden. Trump cut UNRWA as a permanent policy decision. Trump didn't say let's temporarily cut UNRWA. He said it's done. You're saying, come on, bro, as if I'm being naive, but you do understand that it was temporary. It was reinstated. It was reinstated a few months later. It was temporarily cut. It was cut for a few months. That would be temporary. Again, I don't see the benefit. I'm happy to have this conversation, but I don't see the benefit of debating which warmonger was worse, or, because then it positions me as if I'm defending the Biden administration, and I'm not. I'm simply saying that right now the Biden administration's over and we have a Trump administration entering, and I don't want you all to be lulled into a false sense of security that things are about to get better. That's my point. My point isn't to exculpate Biden or Harris or to even to demonize Trump. It's to say, look, we think things are getting better. They are not. They are not. They are not. They are getting worse. They are going to get worse. If you think they're going to stay the same and not get worse, fine. That still means that we have to maintain our vigilance. We cannot let up off the gas. A ceasefire deal, I don't care who the president is, does not mean that Gaza was rendered unlivable several years before, 3 years before, the, what do you call it? The invasion, the genocide. Gaza was a human rights disaster before. So even if it got a little bit better and it went back to 2020 status, it would still be one of the worst human rights disasters in the world. So let's think about that. That to me is what we should be thinking about. Anyway, that's it on that topic, y'all. Let's move on before we go. I want to talk about a couple of things. I do see a couple comments I'm going to read. How plausible is it of Palestine existing as a federalist group existing within the same physical space as Israel, as Professor Iris Young articulates in Self-Determination as non-domination? The problem with any theory of coexistence is that it presumes, let me take a step back so y'all don't edit me out of context. I support coexistence. I support sharing physical space. I support democracy. The problem is that Israel is a non-democracy. Israel is an ethno state. Israel is an apartheid state, but it's undergirded by an ideology of ethnic supremacy. So it is. So when you ask how plausible it is, the answer is that it is not plausible, because Zionism itself, political Zionism, modern political Zionism, the driving ideology behind the state of Israel and the formation of Israel, is driven by a settler colonial logic of expulsion, removal, erasure. They don't want coexistence with Palestinians in any significant way. So I don't think that it's plausible, even if I thought that it could be desirable. Mark, I agree with you. Domestically and foreign, things are going to get worse. BRICS is the new order, and how we will fit or maintain our standing. Spinelli says, thank you. Take care, please. And then breaks down all the different names of Palestine or Palestine across different languages, and I guess it's presumably historical moments. Mazia says, I believe I've heard Matt Miller say they don't agree with the UN. They don't think settlements are illegal. Yeah, fine. They don't think, and you know what? I don't think driving drunk is illegal. I don't think robbing banks is illegal. I mean, so what? This is not a principled legal disagreement. This is not a hermeneutical dispute. You cannot acquire land by force. You cannot just fight people and take their land. It's that simple. Military occupations are supposed to be temporary. This is the longest military occupation in modern history. East Jerusalem has been occupied for 57, 50, I'm going on 58. It'll be 58 years on June 5th. June 5th. That's crazy. Knock it off. I'm not saying knock it off to you. I'm saying to Matt. Thank you for the question. To be clear. All right, y'all. Seems like y'all really want to get down on this topic, so I stayed a little longer than I wanted to, but I do have to move on because some of y'all aren't here for that. Y'all here for some other topics, and we're going to cover those topics as well. Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Barack Obama are skipping Donald Trump's inaugural lunch. I love this story. It's so fascinating. Former Presidents Barack Obama, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush said that they will attend inauguration, and they got an invitation to the lunch, but they have no intention of showing up to the lunch that comes after inauguration. Just for context, so you understand. Early in the day, on inauguration day, there's a swearing-in ceremony. That swearing-in ceremony will be attended by all the presidents that I just mentioned, those three presidents. They'll also be attended by the first ladies, except for Michelle Obama, who we talked about the other day, will not be attending. And again, she still ain't getting no reason. She said, who all gonna be there? Trump? Nah, I'm good. Now, it's not a surprise. None of the presidents endorsed. Actually, it is. In the scheme of history, it's surprising, right? Because presidents show up to this thing. This thing goes back all the way to 1897, I believe. The inaugural luncheon happened. It started by a lunch that was hosted by the Senate Committee on Arrangements back in 1897. It was done for William McKinley and other guests at the Capitol. And since then, it's been a big deal. By 1953, the Joint Congressional Committee on Inaugural Ceremony started hosting it. And it was for the president, the vice president, and their guests. And then politicians show up, they toast, they celebrate, they welcome the new prez in the building. That's the ceremonial thing. And presidents kind of did it. Unless somebody was sick or just really, really couldn't make it, people kind of did it. The first person to not do it, I think, was Donald Trump. Yeah, that's right. Because the Clintons attended Donald Trump's one after Trump beat Hillary. I don't know if the Obamas did. I'm pretty sure they did. I think the Bushes did. And Trump toasted her at the time and all of that. Oh, he gave her a standing ovation. I don't know if he actually toasted her, but he gave her a standing ovation, said, I'm honored to have the Clintons here, blah, 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 blah. Trump decided not to come to Joe Biden's. He declined. Why? This guy's ass whooped. He ain't want no parts. But now, for all the presidents to say we ain't coming, it's interesting. Question is why? So there's a couple things to think about. The Bushes hate the Trump, so I knew they weren't coming. They don't want no parts of nothing. They barely spoke at the funeral, at Jimmy Carter's funeral. I think Obama and them don't want to go. Nobody wants to go. Let's be clear. Nobody wants to go. I think going to inauguration is enough. I think they're like, that's enough. But I think also they looked real buddy-buddy at that funeral. And I think the buddy-buddiness of the funeral has them like, all right, we don't want to do too much. I don't want to be now seen toasting Donald Trump. We got an image to maintain. So all the presidents are drawing the line there. Fine. My question is, maybe it's my frustration. Why is Trump the line? Like, Democratic president showed up to George W. Bush's inauguration, even his second one. After he'd invaded Iraq, after he lied about weapons of mass destruction, after he committed numerous war crimes, they still showed up. And when Barack Obama became president, they still invited the warmongering killers. They invited the war criminals to the party. What are we talking about? Joe Biden did. He invited the warmongers and the criminals. They're all warmongers and criminals, to be clear. That's my point. So y'all all in the same gang. That's why y'all was laughing and snickering and kikiing at the funeral. So what is this really about? Is this about a political line that's been crossed? I don't think so. I think Bullet the Bunny hits it right on the nose. He is the line because he is not one of them. He is them without friends and an interest in the system, and that is right. It's easy to say what Cece is saying, which is, come on, Trump is next level sinister. And maybe at some level, Trump is different than them in terms of his personality or his mindset, and certainly his intelligence. But is that really the point? Or is it something else? Is this gossip? Or could be a little bit. Could be a little bit. Somebody just said, and I need to verify, I need a fact checker on this. Can one of our classroom fact checkers hit? Somebody said LL Cool J is playing the inauguration. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. You're going to have to prove that to me. Let me know if y'all see LL Cool J on there for real, for real. I don't want y'all spreading that. I see it in the comments. That's the reason I'm reading it. But come on, y'all. I refuse to believe that Ladies Love Cool Time would do that. Shout out to LL Cool J, one of my heroes, one of the great rappers of all time. Jazz LP says slavery go back 600 years, but I'm still not trying. I'm not still trying to go to the picnic. Shout out to you, Dallas Finest. That's right. So this seems to be yet another sort of moment where Donald Trump is positioned as out of step with the rest of American presidential history. He not like us. He different. And I think that's going to be the Democratic narrative for the next year, the next 4 years, in fact. Because that would be interesting to see if it were different. But, if they had an original playbook, they're just going to say Donald Trump's an anathema. Donald Trump is the worst thing that's ever happened to America. Donald Trump is a monster. Donald Trump isn't like us. And the problem with that argument is that most Americans, literally most Americans, voted for Donald Trump. So whatever we think about Donald Trump, Americans don't feel that way. So it's not an effective strategy for governing. It's not an effective strategy for persuasion. And it's not an effective strategy for unpacking whatever that thing is that got us here. In other words, whatever's inside of Americans and made them think Donald Trump was the best option, let's get there. Let's get there and figure it out. Shout out to Saleh Watts for the super sticker. I really appreciate it, y'all. These super stickers and super chats are coming in clutch. We really need them this month. We are, our revenues are lower this month because y'all are traveling and running. Everybody's traveling and running. So look, these super stickers, these super everything's come in handy. Let's get to it though. We got other stuff to talk about. Method Man faces legal problems for an alleged assault. Y'all know about this? I'm gonna show y'all a picture of Method Man because women seem to enjoy when we do that. This is your boy Method Man, METHOD Man, with his daughter. Method Man was thrust into the news today because, according to initially the New York Post, he was part of an altercation at a gym inside of Staten Island. Allegedly, according to the reports, he assaulted a man, 28-year-old Patrick Sequoia, who reportedly dated Method Man's daughter 10 years ago, more than a decade ago. This happened at a Crunch Fitness. Shout out to Crunch Fitness. I had a great time working out there before I moved from Brooklyn a few years ago. And it's become a very interesting conversation about, what's going on. We don't have all the information, but here's what we know. According to witnesses, Method Man struck Sequoia in the face with a closed fist 7 times. Bing, 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 bink, bink, bing, bink, if you were wondering. Now, we don't have a why. We got the who and the what and the when and the where, but we don't have a why. The why is the interesting part. Apparently, Mr. Sequoia had a relationship again with Method Man's daughter that ended 10 years ago. So this is an ex-boyfriend. They had some kind of encounter at the gym that led to Method Man punching him in the face 7 times, allegedly. Now, Mr. Sequoia, who doesn't seem to be much of a gangster, so it doesn't seem like street shit. I'm not saying, no, that's not a criticism. I'm not mocking him. Sincerely, I'm not. I'm just saying, I'm trying to get to the why of it. Mr. Sequoia went to the police. That's what I'm saying. That if it was some street shit, I don't think he went to the police and he filed a complaint. Contrary to what earlier news reports said, Method Man was not arrested. He was not arrested. He was, however, questioned, but he was not arrested. The man said that he was experiencing facial pain and some dizziness that will happen if you get punched in the face 7 times. But when they tried to give him medical attention, he said no. And then apparently he stumbled to, not being funny, he stumbled to the police to issue a statement, to be a witness. Wu-Tang is for the children. That's what I'm gonna say. Wu-Tang is for the children, man. I don't know what happened. I have absolutely no knowledge of this incident, but here's what I know. When I hear that a dude punched his daughter's ex-boyfriend 10 times, or excuse me, 7 times, I assume the boyfriend did something wrong. Is that true in this case? I don't know. I have no idea who's right and who's wrong. I can't wait to get more information. But I would bet my last dollar, I would bet dollars to donuts that Method Man didn't just start punching some dude in the face, an ex-boyfriend, his daughter's ex-boyfriend in the face for no reason, for no good reason. So my money is on Method Man. My support is on Method Man. Method Man's not a hothead. He doesn't get in a lot of legal trouble. He doesn't run around just randomly stealing people. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt here. Mr. Sequoia, you could be completely innocent. You could be a full victim here. You could be, but I don't think you are. He said, dude got to be 35 to 40 years younger than Meth. He did something. He ain't 35 to 40 years younger than Meth. Come on now, Meth ain't that old. I think dude is 28 and Meth is 52. Is Method? How old is Method Man? And did I just wait? Method Man's 53, so that would mean he's 25 years younger than Method Man. What did you say? Maybe you didn't say something as crazy as I thought you did. I don't remember what you said, but it sounded. Oh, you said 35. Yeah, you way off. But I see that. Yeah, 25 is still significant, though. I mean, I'm not under, but see, 53 is still the age where you got hands, right? 53, your punching power is still there. And 28, you're fully developed. So Meth is a tall dude. He's a big dude. He's a strong dude. And he works out. They were in crunch when he gave him the beats. Mazia said, Mark, I needed to listen to you read a book to your son. Love the sound effects. Yeah, I'm just doing my best here. Shout out to Celine84 for the super sticker. Observing the Matrix from earlier said, Dim should let the U.S. see if both sides are really the same. They're not. If people don't hear, they must feel. Well, they're going to find out one way or the other. And John Bat sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. So what do y'all say? Is Method Man, are y'all feeling sympathy for Method Man? Are you inclined to believe him? Oh boy, Karen, you meth body. We get it. Ladies love cool meth. I get it. My wife brings it up. Everybody loves Method Man. All the women love Method Man. Fine. He hit him with the shimmy, shimmy, yeah. Wow, y'all are so petty and silly. Latoya said, and you let all 7 hits land without moving. I mean, look, he might have hit him. He might have hit him with a dewdrop. You know what I'm saying? Y'all know about the dewdrop? When he hits you, you do drop. You know what I'm saying? If you hit him with the dewdrop, then them other 6 was, you had no choice. You know what I mean? Like maybe it might not have been an engaged fight. You might have hit him once and stunned him, and then just started hitting him with the the 3-piece no biscuit. I'm not. Look, yo, come on, y'all. We can't be out here. We can't be out here talking about this and not laugh, y'all. We can't be out here and not laugh. Wow. But y'all are also ridiculous people. Tiny Tanika said, dude saw all 36 chambers at once. Oh my God. Y'all are so ridiculous. Oh my God. All right. Yeah. I'm gonna hit y'all with some dad jokes. If Patrick Sequoia ends up being in the right and Meth is in the wrong, I will do a whole other segment apologizing. But for now, I'm going to assume I'm riding as a father of 2 daughters, 2 grown daughters. I'm going to assume I can empathize, I guess is what I'm saying, and I could imagine. Shout out to Allison Donnelly for the super sticker. Shout out to you too. I could imagine how this could happen. And Meth being in the right. And so I'm going to lean toward that. All right, we got time for one more story here. Although someone already accused me of being was that being racist or something? I don't know. I don't even know what y'all be talking about anymore. But let's move on. Drake accuses Kendrick Lamar of anti-Semitism. This is a piece of the story that has barely been talked about. We covered it last night for a hot second, but I wanted to drill down on this because this is part of the problem. Yesterday, Drake issued a lawsuit, a defamation suit against Universal Music, accusing them of defamation and harassment, actually, arguing that the song Not Like Us defamed him by falsely calling him a pedophile and encouraged vigilante justice be taken against him, encouraging harassment. Drake broke down all of it in his very long lawsuit that came the day after he withdrew another lawsuit against Universal. So that's the backdrop. We got y'all. That's the backdrop. But today, we want to unpack a little bit more a particular line from the lawsuit where he doesn't just accuse him of harassment and all this other stuff, which, look, he has a right to do. He might not even be legally wrong. I don't know. That's a question for the jury or for the judge. But it's so whack. It's so anti-hip hop to go after somebody for defamation in a rap battle. Rap battles are about puffery. They're about hyperbolic speech. It's literally an insult battle. You're roasting somebody. Can you imagine suing somebody for what they said at a celebrity roast? Can you imagine I'm sending Jeff Ross to the right? What are we talking about? This is stupid. But Aubrey, aka Drake, Aubrey Drake Graham, didn't just accuse him of harassment and abuse. He now says that it was anti-Semitic. Here's a line from the lawsuit. He said, furthering the recording's refrain that Drake is, quote, not like us. The recording alludes to Drake's Jewish heritage, saying that Drake is not a colleague, but a fucking colonizer. This is wild. This is wild. First of all, it's just not accurate, right? At no point in the song, does Kendrick Lamar allude to, address, speak to, or highlight Drake's Jewish heritage. It just doesn't happen. I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm saying look it up for yourself. The lyrics are there. The lyrics are there. So all you got to do is look it up. So I'm gonna pull up the lyrics really fast. I was trying to pull up on Genius. Shout out to my man over there, because Genius typically has yeah, here we go. This is such an interesting analysis. It's such a bizarre one. So I'm pulling up the analysis so y'all can see for yourselves. You ain't got to guess. So many ads on Genius. I know that's how y'all get bread. No shade. Just y'all make it hard to quote. Here we go. I said on the beat out. All right. So we know this song, right? I'm going to skip to the third verse because the rest of this is about calling him a pedophile. They're not even claiming the other verses are anti-Semitic. They're just saying the third verse is. Let's look at the third verse. Right? I'm skipping here. There we go. I was like, let me do a word search so I can get to where I know I want to be. And I think this verse is one of the more interesting and nuanced verses lyrically, right? He said, once upon a time, all of us was in chains. Homie still doubled down, calling us some slaves. Atlanta was the Mecca building railroads and trains. Bear with me for a second. Let me put y'all on game. So he's giving a historical context. He said, the settlers was using town folk to make them richer. The settlers, right? Fast forward 2024, you got the same agenda. So he's saying Drake is doing the same thing that settlers in Atlanta did back then, which is to exploit black people. Settlers in the United States and in the South. Who's he talking about? White people. Fast forward 24, you got the same agenda. He said, you run to Atlanta when you need a check balance. Let me break it down for you. This is the challenge. You call Future when you didn't see the. This is a brilliant verse, as we all know. Lil Baby helped you get your lingo up. 21 gave you false street cred. Thug made you feel like a slime in your head. Quavo said you could be from North Side. 2 Chainz say you good, but he lied. You run to Atlanta when you need a few dollars. No, you're not a colleague. You a fucking colonizer. He's saying Drake exploits black people. You're not like us. The not like us part is we're black and Drake is white. I'm not saying Drake's white. I acknowledge Drake is black. I don't question Drake's blackness. I'm saying that's what he's saying. He's saying Drake's black, Drake's white. When you look at all the criticisms of Drake, they didn't call him a Jew. Hip hop doesn't care that Drake is Jewish. Hip hop has never cared that Drake is Jewish. Hip hop, frankly, didn't care that Drake is half white. But once the disses started, Rick Ross started calling him what? White boy. He didn't call him Jewish boy or Jew boy, which would be terrible. Right? Because that could be leaning into something anti-Semitic. But if that had happened, yes, they'd be anti-Semitic. Certainly be worth a conversation, but it didn't happen. It did not happen. It's not like I don't agree with how it happened or I have a different interpretation of it happening. It did not happen. The argument has been that Drake is a white boy infiltrating the culture. Here is what Rick Ross put up about Drake, that he's a white boy, right? He literally gave him a white face because he's saying Drake is white. The same thing that Kendrick was saying. You're not like us. Not that he's literally white, but that he is not like us culturally. And I got to say, a rap lawsuit does make you not like us. Hip hop is a cultural product as much as anything else. It's a cultural practice. We're doing cultural work when we do hip hop. And people saying, yo, you operate outside the culture. That's it. At no point is he saying that you are an issue or we have an issue because of your Jewishness. Anti-Semitism is the hatred of Jews for being Jewish. They don't allude to his heritage. Why would we assume lyrically that the allusion is to his Jewishness and not just to the fact that he's half white? Right. Now, somebody says Drake's whiteness derives from his mother who is Jewish. Yes, you could make the case. You could make that case, right? But Kendrick didn't make that case. Nobody made that case. Now people are saying, well, you know, it's actually a step further. They're saying that the colonizer and the stolen identity, it's all an allusion to the Khazar myth around Jews. And I mean, you have to take like 15 leaps of logic and of fact to get Kendrick Lamar to be saying that. Kendrick didn't say that. When I said, wait, we're just talking about Jewish colonizers a second ago. I wasn't talking about Jewish colonizers a second ago. I wasn't at all. That hasn't come up tonight on the show at all. But more importantly, Kendrick wasn't talking about it. So why would Drake do that? Does Drake really think that he was being attacked for his Jewishness? Does he really think he was the subject of that not like us is an anti-Semitic attack? Because if you assume that the premise is his Jewishness, then you have to say, well, then calling him a pedophile. There are anti-Semitic stereotypes and canards, lies, myths about Jews and sexuality, about harming children. You could take this all the way down the road and say, wow, Not Like Us is the most anti-Semitic song ever. And you'd have an argument if we began from the premise that that's what Kendrick Lamar was saying. But let's be real, he was not. It's a ridiculous stretch. Drake got into a rap battle. Drake lost. Drake accused Kendrick Lamar of domestic abuse. He accused Kendrick Lamar's wife of falsifying who the father of her child is. She accused him of extramarital affairs. He accused him and her of having respective extramarital affairs. He accused her of all the things. This is ridiculous. Somebody says here, Robert Small says, Mark, the word anti-Semite doesn't appear in the lawsuit. Further in the recording's refrain that not like us, the recording alludes to Drake's Jewish heritage, saying that he is not a colleague, but a fucking colonizer. He's saying that calling him a colonizer is an allusion to Drake's Jewish heritage. Saying that Jews, by virtue of being Jews, are colonizers is anti-Semitic. That's not to say that Jews can't be colonizers. Anybody can be a colonizer. Christians can be colonizers. Muslims can be colonizers. Black people can be colonizers. Europeans can be colonizers. They mastered that shit, right? But saying that Drake's Jewish heritage makes him a colonizer, or that colonizer is part and parcel of his Jewish heritage, that is a claim of, that's an allegation of anti-Semitism. At least be honest. At least be honest. Let's not pretend that that's not the implication here. Let's not pretend that that's not the statement here, particularly if we go by the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. Remember that? The International Holocaust Remembrance Association, they developed the definition of anti-Semitism. Uh-oh. This is where this stuff comes back to bite you. This is where that stuff comes back to bite you. Because when you go to the IRHA and how they define anti-Semitism, which has been used to attack Rashida Tlaib and other people in the U.S. Congress, it's been used to attack me, it's been used to attack a lot of people. They say calling for or justifying the killing or harming of Jews in the name of a radical ideology or an extremist point of view. Drake said in the lawsuit, they called to harm me, and they could argue, as they have before, that Kendrick had some radical ideology by being a Hebrew Israelite. I'm not saying Kendrick's a Hebrew Israelite. That's just what they could say. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews as such, or the power of Jews as a collective, right? Accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing committed by a single Jewish person, or even acts committed by non-Jews. That would be the argument about saying that he's responsible for slavery in the South. You get what I'm saying? Do I think this is anti-Semitism that Kendrick Lamar is doing? Of course not. Do I think it's a bad case? Of course. I think everybody does. I think Drake is reaching. But please miss me with the they didn't call him an anti-Semite. You're saying that I'm reaching? I'm not reaching. There was absolutely no reason for this lawsuit to suggest that Kendrick Lamar was attacking Drake or addressing or alluding to Drake's Jewish heritage. He was not. It's creating space for Kendrick Lamar and Universal Records to be accused of anti-Semitism. That's the point. And that's why Drake is a sucker. Because he's weaponizing things that should be used for the vulnerable. Jews in this country, Jews in Europe, Jews in the Middle East, Jews in Australia, Jews in Latin, wherever you look, Jews are under attack. Jews are the victim of Jew hate. Jews are victims of anti-Semitism. Jewish people deserve to be protected from anti-Semitism. And it's a very real thing. What we don't need is Drake and his lawyers muddying the water by making this about anti-Semitism. That's stupid and ridiculous. And that is why, to quote the great Bullet the Bunny, Degrassi Drake is not like us. It ain't because of it. And let me say one more thing. There is no legacy, there is no history of hip hop hating Jewish people. This is not. Homophobia? Sure. Misogyny? You got it. But third base, the Beastie Boys, Doja Cat, going down the list. Even Remedy, who I think is trash, but like Netanyahu, they've been prominent Jewish artists. And then we get into, we can talk about producers like Rick Rubin, we could talk about executives. Jewish people play a significant role in hip hop. And their Jewishness is not a kind of routine or systematically attacked thing. Let's not make things up. Let's not make things up, y'all. Drake gets the gas face is a brilliant reference. Some of y'all kids don't get it, but just look up Pete Nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that was good. Look up MC Search. Like, look up the gas face, man. Just look up gas face. Shine is Jewish. When Shine became Jewish, did anybody go, oh my God, Shine's a Jew now? No. Of course, there are anti-Semitic rap lyrics. I'm not saying there isn't. I'm saying there's not a systematic hatred of Jews in hip hop. There's anti-Semitic rap lyrics. There's homophobic rap lyrics. There's anti-everything rap lyrics. I'm not suggesting there's not anti-Semitism somewhere in hip hop. I'm saying that that's not a prominent feature of hip hop culture. That no one's worried about Drake's Jewishness. They're just not. And when people have mentioned Drake's Jewishness in terms of him having a bar mitzvah or other things, they're talking about him being privileged. They're saying you're not from the streets. You're not from the hood. They're not saying we don't want Jews to make hip hop music. Come on. This is, y'all. Oh, my people. Oh, my people. Anyway, I love y'all. And I've been talking. I said I'd make this fast, and I've been just yappity yapping, and it's time to go. It's time to go. Unless there's another comment. He said the hip hop has Jewish friends defense. No, it's not the hip hop has Jewish friends defense. It's that hip hop is inclusive. No, look, I'm not saying hip hop is perfectly inclusive. There's a whole lot of people who don't get included, but again, ethnic origin ain't one of them things. National origin ain't one of them things. Religious, it's not the thing. It's just not. I wish, anyway. Yeah, that ain't it. Sorry, y'all. That ain't it. If there's another question, I'll take it now before I go. I will take a live Q&A. I'll do a live Q&A, I should say. Oh, Bob Warren said, no one is free unless we all free. Boom. That's it. That's it, Bob. Shout out to Bob Warren and shout out to my people in Lebanon. Yo, if someone sends a super question in the next 30 seconds, I'll take it. Or if somebody asks a damn good question, I'll take it. Robert Small says, why did Nipsey call Shine Moses? Because Shine changed his name to Moses. He literally changed his name to Moses Barrow. After converting to Judaism and spending time in Jerusalem, I think it's like a year or two there. Shine changed his name from Jamal to Moses. For him, it was about a spiritual awakening in his conversion. I guess a name like Jamal doesn't go well with being Jewish culturally, particularly when you're studying in West Jerusalem. Right? Yeah, I think Jamal was something different for him. Jazz LP Dallas Finance at MLH Picnic Summer 2025 at Uncle Bobby's Bookstore. Yo, do it. I want all y'all to come through. Come through, y'all. Come through, y'all. We need to have a night school meetup anyway. Isaac Hemsey gifted a membership. Make sure y'all snatch that thing up. Okay, Common Thoughts keeps asking this question, so I'll answer it. Why is it that every time you go on Piers, he interrupts you when you're speaking? Because that's his style. If he agrees with you, you get to talk. If he doesn't, he interrupts you at every turn. Is there a chance that the ADL will take up support for Drake in his new stance against Kendrick Lamar? No, I don't think so. I mean, if he reached out to them, he may. I don't think it's a strong case, but also the ADL is much more interested in smearing people and defending Israeli policy than they are. That's my sense. They don't really care about these kinds of things as much as they should. I mean, about advocacy as much as they should. I actually don't think they should care about this anyway. But that's just my take. I see another question coming in. I'm going to take it. I'm just trying to pull it up here. Let's see. New York Yankee 718 said, "You ever criticize Qatar or no? Because they pay you." Yeah, I criticize Qatar all the time. You're just not looking for my criticisms of Qatar because you don't really care about what happens in Qatar. You just want to sort of undermine the legitimacy of my critiques of Israel. So when you come here and troll that, when you come in and make it seem as if the only thing I do is criticize Israel and come for the only Jewish state in the world and all these other misrepresentations of my position and of Israel, it's clear what's happening. But here, I'll show you something since you asked, New York Yankee, and I hate the Yankees, so. See this?
Speaking up after an outspoken Kenyan national found himself charged and jailed in the Middle East after calling out labor rights issues. Earlier this month, authorities in Qatar released 28-year-old Malcolm Badali, who blogged about the inhumane conditions for migrant workers in the nation, just days after making an online presentation exposing the harsh realities.
Now, just to be clear, for context, since you might need it, Mr. New York Yankee, I hosted this show and I've hosted many other segments on the exploitation of workers in Qatar while working for Al Jazeera. By the way, I work for Al Jazeera, which is a private company. I do not get paid by the Qatari government. I get paid by Al Jazeera. But even if what you were saying were true, you're saying, you said it repeatedly, I don't critique Qatar. So I'd like you to respond in the comments. Would you consider that a criticism of Qatar? Or would you not? And I can show you more, but just let me know if that's what you think. Bob Vaughan said, "Please give us a fit check." Oh, I'm just rocking this educated black man shirt that I got from Scholar. What's it called? Black and Scholar apparel. I think the name of Black and Scholar. I love Black and Scholar. Shout out to them. I appreciate you. And I appreciate the fit, the gear y'all send me. Y'all are loved and appreciated. Kenley George gifted 5 channel memberships. Yo, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where you at, New York? Where's the New York Yankee? King James said, "You're not criticizing, you're presenting news." I am certain, King James, that you didn't watch that segment. I would bet my life that you didn't watch any more of this segment than what I just showed you. Because if you had, you would know that I did criticize it. There's no way that you could have said that. But also, if I were afraid to criticize the Qatari government, why would I present a segment that I clearly don't have to present that points out the human rights abuses of the Qatari government? And why would I bring on a guest? Why would I bring on a guest who was a victim of the abuse and give him an opportunity to talk about it? Now all of a sudden, y'all are obtuse about how news works.
About the inhumane conditions for migrant workers in the nation, just days after making an online presentation exposing the harsh realities faced by migrant workers in Qatar. Tain Badali, who wrote under the alias
harsh realities
for migrantrights.org while working as a security guard in Qatar. For 3 weeks, Badali. Thank you. What can you tell us about what led to the detainment of Malcolm Badali?
And so
here's the thing. I mean,
we're doing a whole segment on the detainment, the illegal detainment of somebody. Knock it off. I can speak about anybody else. Ever on Al Jazeera English? Yes, absolutely. Go look through the records. It's there. Now, do I criticize or focus on Qatar a lot? No. Why? Because for some reason I don't focus on human rights abuses in Uganda a lot over there, or on Egypt a lot. It's not. I don't singularly avoid Qatar on Al Jazeera. It's that on Al Jazeera I tend to focus on the Levant region. I tend to focus on Israel Palestine. Honestly, if you look, it's mostly what I do, because I don't know. It seems important to focus on that to our audience. But yeah, I absolutely have talked about that. In fact, I've talked. In fact, we talked about the Bedouin population in Kuwait, and we talked about the guest workers from Philippines, maybe. It's been a while, Philippines, but definitely Kenya, in Qatar. So I don't know. I just don't know what you're talking about. I've done this. So I don't know what you're talking about. Let's take a couple more. Barzita Brujita said, "Where's my black educated woman?" Yo, I'm gonna find some stuff. And maybe I can get Black and Scholar to send me some stuff, and we can maybe they can promote on the show. That would be dope. We're going to talk about BRICS and Cuba joining. That's a great conversation. I want to bring on a Cuba expert, because again, I don't know everything about everything, and I don't pretend to. I know about Cuba, but I don't know enough about the internal politics of Cuba and what it means for them to join BRICS. So let me bring on somebody who I know does. Bob Warren said you had the clip loaded, chambered it, read. I didn't, but I can pull up things relatively quickly. So, and again, shout out to Kenley George for the love. We need night school merch. It's funny you say that. I literally spoke to Princess yesterday about that, and we got some night school merch coming. So I was going to surprise y'all, but you know what's coming. I promise. Anything else before I go, man? I got one more minute here if y'all want to send another super chat or ask another question. Riverside John said, "Note to self, try to set up your phone during a fiery debate on Piers Morgan." To understand, I've been on TV for 16 years. You notice I'm never on my phone. The reason it happens on Piers is because right before the segment starts, they raise a new topic that they didn't tell us about. They'll be like, "Hey, you're here to talk about affirmative action," and then they'll say, "What do you think about the Brexit?" So now on live television, I have to actually read the story that they're telling me about and pull up the facts about the thing they're telling me about, because they gave me no pre-warning. That's why it happens, unfortunately. Anyway, yo, I need a mug too, Shia. You have no idea. A night school mug will be the shit. All right, y'all. It looks like everybody's done. I'm sorry, Matthew had one more comment about Drake. He said, "Bro, if that's how he felt, then that's how he felt. But putting in the courts when it started in hip hop, definitely in hip hop, like I agree." My point is, I don't think it's how he felt. I'm not even sure Drake read that lawsuit. I think his lawyers threw a bunch of shit against the wall to see what stuck. The lawsuit also says that Kendrick Lamar grew up in Oakland. Either it's a dig or they don't do their homework, because Kendrick's not from Oakland. This is what I mean. It's just a bad lawsuit. Anyway, y'all, I appreciate and love y'all. I do. D. Marie said tuition payment and co-signing with GSA. Yo, speaking of that, y'all, I'm telling you, I'm really trying to build this channel. You know, I had a recent opportunity to do some stuff that would have paid a lot of money, but it would have required me to leave night school. And I took the loss financially because it's more important to me to build what we have here. It's necessary to me to build what we have here. Barzita Brujita, I want you to email me, Matthias. I want you to email me. Who else did I want to email me? Either email me or DM me on IG. That's actually easier. Or either one. I don't care. Actually, yeah, that way I don't have to put my private email out. DM me on IG, Matthias Barzita, about apparel and design. Anyone else who wants to, please do it. Very, 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 very soon. Adrian said, "Don't leave night school." Yeah. If somebody sends a super chat, I'll stay for another minute. But other than that, we got to roll. I got to write. There was something we were about to I was in the middle of yeah, I'm trying to build this thing. Oh, I see what you mean by don't leave. You meant like don't leave. Got you. Marcy, thank you for the super sticker. So yeah, man, I'm here trying to build this channel up. I'm doing everything I can. We're growing. The content is growing and expanding. The work is growing and expanding. the subscriber base is growing and expanding. You're right. I do need to check my DMs. That's why I want y'all to DM me now, and I'll check them now. But at the end of the day, I got you now, Jenny. We need financial support to grow. Since we're talking honestly and candidly, we need financial support to grow. We need financial support to build on this thing. I need to hire more staff. I need more technology. I want to improve the sound in the video. I know all the things y'all want to do. Trust me, I want to do too. Believe me. Everything y'all want to do, I want to do. But we can't do those things until we build up our membership base. So if you're not a member, if you're here every night, just consider getting a membership. Thank you, Portia. Right, I'm so grateful. Jazz LP said, I understand fully that you let other jobs go to be here, and that's why I make sure that I'm present and comfortable. Yo, and that means a lot. Thank you. Rosability said Patreon. That's not a bad idea. You know, we do memberships here, but I'd be happy to post the Patreon and put up new different content up there. If y'all think that that's something that you want, let me know. I'd be happy to do a Patreon. Would y'all support a Patreon? Or do y'all like the system now where y'all just get a membership here on the channel? You tell me. I'm open to either. Sincerely, I'm open to either. You just let me think about some things. I appreciate you saying you watch for free for too long, Marcy. Thank you for being a member. Thank you for joining. Ricky, I'm glad to see you coming over from the JBP. I love that. I appreciate that. It's a little different here in Night School. It's a different vibe. Still funny, silly, but a lot more serious, a lot more like a classroom. The goal here, and that's the thing, y'all. I would love to have 1 million views every night, but the goal here is not to have a bunch of viewers. It's to have a community. That's why the memberships are so important. I'm inclined. Vijay Prashad is coming on. We have a date booked, by the way. So thank you for that. Sakar Papa is coming. I think that's right, Bullet the Bunny. I think there's more opportunities for classmates here. That's the goal. Again, I'm trying to build a global classroom, and that's why it's structured this way. I don't need 100,000 viewers every day for every video, although that'd be amazing. If we get 10,000 views every day, this model still works as long as we have memberships and as long as people make donations. So, you know, one of the things you can do if you don't want to make a monthly commitment, I just ask that you drop one in on the Cash App, drop one in on PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle right now. Look, if everybody watching supported, we would be in great shape. It would be amazing if one person tonight could make a huge donation. There's some celebrity out there watching right now that loves what we do and has the ability to make a 5-figure donation. I ask that you do it. Or just a rich person, whether you're rich, famous, whatever, but there's somebody out there who could make a 5-figure donation. I'm asking that you do it tonight. Go right to that Cash App, that PayPal, that Venmo, or Zelle, and drop it. We could use it right now to build this channel, to do radical work, to do anti-occupation work, etc. You're so appreciated. CC asked, by the way, can there be an in-between silver and gold, like 15 or 19.99 for? Hey, I'm open to think about that. I'm down. Isaac, thank you. I feel like you already do everything, so this is just another thing, but I'm grateful to you. I appreciate y'all, man, so much. There's somebody here right now who can make a 4-figure donation if they could drop something in the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, or Zelle. Consider tuition for the year if you want. If you want to, you know, whatever it is, drop it in, and we'll appreciate it. But I want to be clear. If you drop $1 in, I'm grateful. And like I say every night, if you drop $1 million in, we're grateful. If you drop $1 in, we're grateful. If you drop $1 million in, we're grateful. By the way, if you drop $1 million in, we will be set for a very long time, and we'd be able to do all the work we need to do. So if somebody wants to really build this institution up by dropping $1 million or $500,000 in, thank you. Just drop it on into the Zelle, the Cash App, the PayPal, or the Venmo, however you want to do it. Shit, you can send me a bag of nickels and hit me with them if you want. You can hit me with the Method Man, Wu-Tang. But what would be amazing, what would be really amazing, is if everybody watching tonight donated $10. If you're looking right now and you have $10 to spare, we would be grateful. Cash App, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. Everybody watching tonight donated $10. We would meet our financial goals for the month. So think about it as a monthly donation. Just drop $10 in the Cash App and we meet our financial goals for the month if everybody does it. You can always give more and feel free to give less, but $10 would nail it for us. Anyway, family, I want to thank you for watching. I want to encourage you to watch all the videos on the channel. I want to encourage you to join and become a member. But most importantly, I want to encourage you to keep studying, keep analyzing the work, because that is what night school is all about.